Hi, Ben here from Trident Fly Fishing. Today I've got with me the all-new Orvis Recon 2 Saltwater Edition. The Recon 2 replaces the very popular Orvis Recon as their mid-priced, made-in-the-USA, high-performance fly rod. And the Recon was really popular because in addition to having a great price, it also was a super lightweight rod and made you feel like you were casting a much more expensive rod than you actually were. So I'm really excited to see how this new Recon 2 stacks up. But first, like we always do, we're going to start and walk you through some of the great features on this rod. Starting from the bottom, we've got a great fighting butt on this rod, and I think Orvis does a really good job with their fighting butts because this is very high quality cork, but it's useful and it's a little bit larger than we see on a lot of 8-weights. And that moves into this Type 3 anodized reel seat, and this is essentially borrowed straight from the Helios 3. So it's a little asymmetrical, which means that you don't have to play around with the rings to get your reel on there. I really like it, and the Type 3 anodized means that you're not going to scratch it up at all. Moving on up, we've got a pretty standard full wells grip. I really didn't notice anything special about the grip when I was casting it, and that means it's exactly what you want. You never want to be thinking about your grip. Moving up, you'll see that we've still got this off-color label here, but for the Recon, they decided to go with a way less aggressive color than the white on the Helios 3, and I'm sure a lot of anglers will be happy about that. And this moves into this nice navy blue blank on the Saltwater Edition. It's a really pretty looking rod in my opinion. Then of course, alignment dots, which we really like, and pretty standard hard chrome stripping guides and snake guides. Really exactly what you'd expect from a mid-priced rod. But now since it's too cold in Maine, we're gonna head down to Florida and cast these rods in the heat, where all saltwater rods are really meant to be cast anyway. Starting at our first saltwater distance of 40 feet, the Recon 2 Saltwater performed marvelously. It's a superb rod for getting out of that flats boat and stalking bonefish on the flats. Honestly, I don't know if I've ever cast a more accurate rod. There's really not much you could ask for in terms of these short distance presentations. That said, right off the bat, you notice the swing weight. Where the old Recon was a very lightweight rod with sort of moderate performance characteristics, Orvis has switched it up, not only for the 5-weight, but clearly for this 8-weight as well, to give you great accurate casting, but at the price of a much heavier feeling rod. And that trend continues to the 60-foot distance as well. Really great accuracy. I'm able to throw loops as tight with this rod as I am with any high-end rod. It's just really fantastic, but again, also quite heavy. The downside in the performance of the Recon 2 Salt is at the long 80-foot distance. And while you're not making tons and tons of casts at 80 feet, it's just not a great rod for long bombs. We found that it just ran out of power when trying to make these long distance casts, and you had to slow down and be really smooth to even get it out there. And of course, it really wasn't that accurate at that long distance. But overall, if you're taking your first flats trip and you need a great bonefish rod for those short to middle distances, the Recon 2 does it really well. So as you can tell, I did really enjoy casting the new Recon 2, but I do think it's a rod that is not necessarily for absolutely everyone. It's highly accurate and the performance is definitely there, but unlike the old Recon, you are definitely going to get some of that swing weight here. And it's noticeable, and honestly, it probably fits better into the Orvis lineup than the old Recon does, because that was actually a little bit too good for the price point, which is unfortunate for us anglers, but probably a good move from the marketing department at Orvis. In terms of action, this is a fast rod, but in the saltwater world, it's not that fast. I would call it kind of a fast, medium fast, which is actually a pretty good action for a lot of anglers. Now, let's get to our Poseidon score. Starting with our first category of accuracy, I'm going to give this rod an 8 out of 10. It's really good at 40 feet and 60 feet, but just totally loses it for long distance casting. In terms of components, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's nice, it's fine, but really nothing special going on there. Moving on to distance and power, I would give it a 5 out of 10. For a saltwater rod, it really just doesn't get the job done for making those long casts. The grip, as we mentioned, it's nice, but also nothing special. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. In terms of looks and workmanship, this is a finely built rod, but it's also a production rod, and it's not built by some small handmade facility like an Epic or a Winston, and I'd say it's probably an 8 out of 10. In terms of swing weight, the Recon 2 comes in at 90 gram meters squared, which, like we've said throughout this video, is definitely on the heavy side. And compared to the H3F that I really like, it's almost 2 line weights heavier. So it's a lot of rod, and I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 10 for swing weight. In terms of value, this is a mid-priced rod and does offer a lot of performance with some drawbacks. I'm gonna give it a 7.5 out of 10. Last but not least is the cool factor, and I would say that the Recon 2 has been definitely an anticipated rod release, and it's at a price point that a lot of people are looking for, and I'd say it comes in at an 8 out of 10 for cool factor. So that brings us to a total Poseidon score of 56.5, which puts it in the same ballpark as a lot of mid-price rods. What really hurt this rod was definitely that swing weight. The all-new Recon 2 retails for $549, is available with free shipping from tridentflyfishing.com. If you have questions about the new Recon 2 or any rod in the Orvis lineup, give us a call at 888-413-5211 or email us 24/7 at support@tridentflyfishing.com. Don't forget to like this video and give us a thumbs up in the box below. I'm Ben, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.